the US is feeling a bit humbled at the moment. It always insisted it was exceptional, and it really did exceptionally badly handle the COVID pandemic. So if you're its leader, you need to deflect from an economic crisis, soaring unemployment and a high death toll. But you're also really quite busy testing out disinfectants. You don't have the time to come up with a whole new political strategy. So you look to history, and sure enough, an old friend emerges. The chilly days of the Cold War.
现在要警惕的是
We must be vigilant against the fact that some US political forces are hijacking China-US relations in an attempt to push our two countries to the brink of a new Cold War.
Decades ago, you wanted those poor, repressed people behind the Iron Curtain to taste freedom in a Coca-Cola bottle. So now you need to find some 21st century poor, repressed people who are just thirsting for your liberty. And with China about to pass a law in Hong Kong that would ban treason and sedition, it's the perfect pretext to resurrect your role as global frontman of the Freedom Campaign.
Hong Kong has flourished as a bastion of liberty. The United States strongly urges Beijing to respect Hong Kong's high degree of autonomy, democratic institutions and civil liberties, which are key to preserving its special status under US law.
And you don't even need to splash out on marketing. You can reuse some of your old posters. Because conveniently, the enemy you were fighting all those Cold War years ago, the Red Menace, is still hanging around swinging its sickle.
Media's focus on the current pandemic risks missing the bigger picture of the challenges presented by the Chinese Communist Party. First, basic facts. China's been ruled by a brutal authoritarian regime. Risks that the Chinese Communist Party presents to the United States, Chinese Communist Party's failures. Disinformation campaign that the Chinese Communist Party presents the central threat of our times.
Oh, and never mind that last year you wished them a happy birthday. Now the polls are saying that November might not be quite the slam dunk win you were expecting. You had to change your tune. Especially when it's not just about saving a few Hong Kong students waving the Star-Spangled Banner. This is about saving the world.
China should be held responsible for what they've done. They have hurt the world very, very badly.
But you don't want to be the only one. So, like any good Democrat who believes in the freedom of choice, you bully people into following your lead. From encouraging them to delay projects, to making them get on board a huge investigation, even when they're themselves in the middle of the biggest recession in history, or threatening a breakup if they carry on with a deal you just don't like.
We will simply disconnect. We will simply separate. We're going to preserve trusted networks for important information. We hope our friends and partners and allies across the world, especially our Five Eyes partners like Australia, will do the same.
Times have changed a bit, though. Waving your nuclear weapon used to be a good scare tactic, but now it's a bit passé. So you modernise and instead reach for your new favourite foreign policy tool, economic strangulation. You don't need healthy competition right now. You're in the middle of a crisis. So don't let Huawei get the chips they need to survive and ban some Chinese companies from listing on the US stock exchanges. Oh, and obviously, when in doubt, sanctions.
Secretary Pompeo would likely be unable to certify that Hong Kong maintains a high degree of autonomy, and if that happens, there will be sanctions that will be imposed on Hong Kong and China.
There are no guarantees, of course, but if you do all this, you might be able to shift just enough of the blame and attention from yourself to claw back to re-election position. And by the time the electorate realises it had the whiff of a witch hunt, who cares? You'll be ensconced in